Welcome back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and then get started here because I want you all to have as much time as possible for this little challenge. First and foremost, before we get too deep into it, my name's Rob. I'm actually coming to you from Chicago. I know you all are kind of in the DC area there. I'm coming out of Chicago, Illinois to spend some time working with you. I'm actually a high school physics teacher, but I work with a project called the NEAT program. And they're here to talk a little bit about, let me share my screen out so y'all can see it, the Reduce Energy Use DC project. It's something that your energy providers are going to be putting out to try to make everyone a little bit more aware about how we use energy. And energy use isn't always like this big thing. It's not just oil manufacturing and transportation. It's little things that you do at home, things you choose to do or things you choose to not do, which really make a difference. And this PDF was mailed to you with the invitation for this. So you can read all this in more detail. These are a couple of the big highlights. They're really pushing for you all to kind of take a pledge, to make that commitment to reduce energy year long. This isn't something you do just on Earth Day, for one little day. Make it a year-long active thing you're doing, and share out what you're doing. If you're doing something that's helping the environment, sharing it out through social media, things like that really helps make other people aware, because that's the next big thing, is spreading the word. If you're doing it and someone else hears that you're doing it, they might start doing it. And that's how we make the world a little bit better. And there's, even if you're sharing out what you're doing, even today, what we're doing as we're building, if you want to share out photos, what you're showing, we have Save More Than Money, because again, that's really what it's about. Hashtag Save More Than Money. We're saving energy, we're saving the planet, we're saving resources for your children, for your generation, for your children's 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 children. And that's really what the heart of today is about. And we can find ways to do that with just little choices we make around the house here. All right. First and foremost, I want to ask a couple questions about you all. And I'm going to go through and I want you to say, first off, your name with this question. So your name, how you like to be called, like Izzy told me, she's Izzy, not Isabella. Where you're at, what grade, and then answer the question, how do you use energy? Okay, so tell me who you are, where you're from, what grade you're in, and then how do you use energy? Think of an easy way. So I'll give you a moment. Think about that final one. You hopefully know what grade you're in. You hopefully know what town you live in. But how do you use energy? Something could be daily, something you could be doing once a year, some way you use energy. All right, I'm going to hand it off to Deshauna to start.
My name is Deshana. You can call me, but Deshana, and I'm in the 10th grade. And the way I use my energy is that um, the way I use my energy is that I exercise.
Awesome. I love that definition, because most people think energy is just electricity. But yeah, we use energy. Every time you eat food, that food becomes chemical energy that's stored inside you, and now you can use it to move and exercise. That's when they say burning calories. Calorie is a measure of energy. Really great connection. I like that. All right, I'm going to pass it off to Izzy.
Hi, my name is Isabella, but I like to be called Izzy. I'm in the 6th grade. I'm in DC. The way I use energy is, sorry about the background noise. Um, is I use it while I'm doing work.
Nice. And especially this year, with people learning online and such, we're using more energy to learn than before. Every student I teach has a Chromebook. They're always, either whether they're at home or in my classroom with me, they're always on a Chromebook. So their work, their learning is using a lot of new energy. So that's a really great insight, Izzy. Thank you. All right. I'm going to hand it off to Primo.
My name is Primo. I'm in the 8th grade, and I use energy by flying, like planes.
Nice. Now, are these like you got like a pilot's license or like remote
No,
control?
I like go on planes.
Oh,
Like,
so you travel a lot. And you know what? Perfect connection, Primo, because when we think about air travel, that's why when I was a kid, there was the price of gas, the use of amount of fuel wasn't something we thought about. So there was a lot more flights. Now flights are limited because they're trying to be more conscientious and efficient with the way they use that fuel. Very nice connection. And again, it's all energy, jet fuel, gasoline, however you transport yourself somewhere, it's coming from energy. It looks like we had Tiffany there kind of popping in, but she might have lost connection. So if she pops back in, we'll have her introduce herself as well. All right. Oh, whoop, whoop. There she is. There she is. Hopefully we can get her to stay in. There we go. Oh, nice. Hey, Tiffany, welcome.
You're muted.
All right, so we're just going around right now, and it's your turn. We're just saying who we are, what grade we're in, where we're from, and how we use energy. One way you use energy.
Okay, so I'm Tiffany James. I am the librarian at Langdon Elementary School. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm part of the ESP program. So I wanted my daughter, she loves STEM. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself. This is go ahead.
Hi, my name is Brent James. Was the question, how do we use energy?
Well, you wanted to know.
We use energy to cook. We use energy to see things. Thermal energy.
To heat things.
And
then and what was the other question? I'm sorry, Rob.
That was it. Just how do you use energy?
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Those are some great examples. Yeah, I really like those. Because everyday uses, heating, cooking, cooling things down takes energy. We don't often think about that, but in order to cool things down, we have to take energy from somewhere. Awesome. All right. Here's my next question, and I'm gonna kind of throw it around to everyone who wants to answer. Tell me about your dream house. And again, take a moment to think about this one. What would you put in your ideal house? Like this is the TV show Cribs or any reality show where you see some big luxurious mansion. What would yours look like? So think about that for a second. What would you include? What would you have the architects build for you? All right. Any volunteers? What would you want in your house? All right, I'll give you my, yeah, pop on.
Maybe a movie theater.
Movie theater, I love it. That was what I was going to suggest. That's one of those things. Whenever you see those big tours of people's houses, they're like, "This is my movie theater." Awesome. All right, what else? What else would you love to have in there? I know a lot of people when we talk about this.
Solar panels.
So Primo, you took it in the efficient thought process. Usually when I throw that question out there, I get like, I want a hot tub, I want a pool, I want a helipad.
Well, no, because I don't really like, I guess a pool would be cool, but I've always kind of I've always thought it would be nice to kind of live out in a much more rural area.
That's a great thing. So kind of going off the grid.
So solar panels would probably be much more efficient, like that far out. Yeah. Since I'm just staying directed.
And especially since if there's no buildings and there's clearer skies, things like that, that'd be really good. And you're seeing a lot more solar panels popping up. Look into, you all know Tesla, the company that makes cool cars. they have a company as well that makes roofs that are solar panels. So there's a lot of cool things happening in the world of solar. Izzy,
And
I
then-
think you had, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Primo.
Yeah, just then it would probably be like just like basic necessities, and then like I forget what they're called, but they're like the wired phones, just because those don't require Wi-Fi or internet to use.
Right. So like a landline type phone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing, Primo. Izzy, what do you got for us? What would you put in your dream home?
My dream home. I was about to say it before you. It was a mansion, but
Yeah, you
now
want a
that
mansion?
but now that I think of it, I don't want to waste energy. Cause if I waste energy, we're probably gonna have the world collapse, and I'm not trying to have that happen. And I'd like to live in. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. I like to live in a lot of land, so I can build a farm and what's it called? And what's it called? Garden.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
And
So-
Bryn, I think it's interesting. Izzy, thanks for sharing all that thoughts, because you're talking about growing things. And as you were saying that, Bryn just messaged and said, what about plants, growing things? That's always good too. So you all are thinking about ways to even not only be efficient, but like improve the world. The greener we make things, the better. And this is really kind of what this program's all about. This is what we were trying to do, is kind of get some good voices out there, get some educated and ready students to become educated and ready adults out in the world, to spread the word of efficiency, to spread, like you said, if we don't do something, things collapse. The world is very, very stabilized and based on us kind of looking out for it. So we need those people like you. Since a lot of you did say that you are interested in making your house energy efficient, that's great, because that's our challenge today. That's what you got a big bag of science for. And before I go any further, I want to double check that everybody got one of these bags. I know I asked a little bit earlier. Izzy, you got yours, and then Bryn, did you get yours?
I got a box.
Perfect. It's in the box. The bag is in the box.
Okay.
Perfect.
I already opened everything.
That's perfectly fine. I just wanted to make sure everyone had something to work off of. Otherwise, we got to get creative. All right. So here's what we're going to do.
Oh yeah, one question. What's with these scissors?
Scissors. Let me see. Oh,
They're like,
interesting. So I haven't seen those. Those are what we would call like, I think they're called like crimping shears or something. It usually is for like fabric. So that's probably why. Because if you look, you have a bunch of like more fabric-y type materials, but that allows you to cut without like dragging the scissors along the table.
Oh.
Yeah, those are interesting. I've never seen those shipped out before.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the energy efficient home design challenge. I'm going to set it up, and then we're going to cut to a little clip that shows it in a little bit more detail. What we're going to be doing is building a model home. So you're going to have plenty of time to build it. We're going to give you as much time as you can. You're going to build it from the ground up. You're going to insulate it, because that's a big piece of this. You all talked about, what if we did solar panels, and what if we lived in a smaller house instead of getting a big wasteful mansion. But things like insulation, the way we design our doors, our windows, really makes a difference. Now, we're not going to be doing lighting. Sorry about that. We don't have time for lighting today, but that's always a fun challenge. You can always add that. And then we're going to have, if you have time, you can decorate it. We're going to be mostly focused on building, insulating, and testing today, but you can see all the different ways you can expand on these. Now, you all kind of used, I love it when Students, I get to work with students who are using the vocabulary without using the vocabulary. And you all kind of said some of these things when we were talking earlier. There's a big difference between efficiency and conservation. Some of the things you were talking about fall into these two categories. When we talk about efficiency, energy efficiency, it's using as much as you can. So it's getting the most out of a system. If I put in 100 joules of energy, I want to get out 100 joules. It won't happen, but the closer I can to it. And this is something that often comes down to the amount of energy that's wasted. And we talked about those dream home things, like putting in big theaters and pools and all of that. You all kind of said, well, that seems a little wasteful. There's more efficient ways to do that. If my home is a system, that might not be the best way for to use the energy. Now, we can also talk about this in terms of technology, the innovation of design. When you buy a better refrigerator, it's more efficient. It uses that energy better. You put in some energy, the same amount as before, but you're getting out more. Conservation, however, are those choices you make. And you all talking about some of the choices you would make in your own home, or the choices you make when you're using energy on a daily basis. Those are conservative or conservation choices. Choosing to use less energy, choosing to turn off a light bulb, choosing to close a door. Basically, all the things that your parents have told you many times, we're not air conditioning the outside, turn off that light. All the things they tell you, that's conservation. They're trying to use less energy. And a lot of the times when it comes to the everyday house, they're thinking, and eventually when you have your own homes, you'll be thinking money. You'll be thinking it costs less to run less energy or use less energy. But as you all said in our discussion at the beginning, it comes down to more than the money. It's about what we can do to preserve what we have for future generations, what we can do to make the world a little bit easier to live in, safer to live in. We got a chat here. Yeah, so Bryn just pointed out a great example of conservation is turning off the lights and turning on natural sunlight. A window is always a great natural use or a great natural source of light. So when we talk about the energy in a home, a lot of it comes down to preventing thermal energy transfer. We look at a home or any building really as having a building envelope, something that needs to be sealed like an envelope, because we're keeping the air outside the home different from the air inside the home. And this envelope includes walls, floors, doors, the roof, the windows, basically everything that goes into building a home. And this also has to do with the energy system, because we're putting in heat or we're removing heat to cool it down. We want to also make things comfortable and healthy within reason. So you don't want to live in the world's most efficient energy home because it might not be a temperature you like all the time. It may not have as much room. So there's always concessions we make about energy. And we talk about insulation. Every wall in your home, every wall in your school, any building you're in should have some form or level of insulation. Just like your coat in the winter would have insulation. All that down or all that fluffiness is insulating you. It's keeping the outside air from your core temperature. It prevents thermal energy transformation. We're going to look at some cool demos here in a little bit that really show you this. Couple things to look at, and we're going to highlight these in the demo. Doors are really important. Keep them closed. We mentioned that's a good conservation choice you can make. Weather stripping. So as you're thinking about designing your house here in a little bit, because that's going to be your big challenge, weather stripping keeps those little cracks, those places where air comes through. If you ever put your hand by a window or door on a breezy day or on a cold day, you can feel that cold air coming through. And here's something now you won't have to deal with this today, but doors shift over time. So think about that in your own home. Multiple doors create air gaps. You may see this in your school or other buildings. If you live in an apartment or a condo, my condo has a vestibule like this. Izzy, I see your hands up. What's up? How can I help you?
What is weather stripping closes that?
Exactly, and that's what weather stripping does. So weather stripping, let me find some in your bag, because we're going to look at the materials in your bag here in a moment. Here's weather stripping. So here's an example. This is kind of a clay-based weather stripping that you have. And what it does is it fills in any little gaps that allow air through, because that's going to be your goal. You're trying to seal this all off. And the insulation will seal it, but the gaps are hard to fill. But this is a big idea. Multiple doors like this create air bubbles. That's what insulation does. It creates gaps in the air. Look at windows. The windows, another place. On a breezy day, put your hands along the windows of your home and you'll feel wind coming through. If you feel a little bit of wind, that means the home, your envelope, is open. It's unsealed. The building envelope needs to be completely sealed. Things like metal. It's a conductor. It allows heat through. So if you see metal frames around windows, that might allow heat to transfer. Things like wood, vinyl, they're insulators. They have those air gaps. That's the big idea with insulation, is air gaps, because you can keep that transformation of thermal energy that way. There are things called low E glass that reflects light off. Now, we talked about air gaps. I keep saying those words because it's very important for insulation. You can have a single pane window, which is just one level. But if I do a double pane, because look at that, I have the outside energy here, the outside temperature and air, the inside air, and I have a little bit of a gap in between. If I added another pane of glass, that would give me even more insulation because it'd be two air gaps. So keep these things in mind. How do you keep windows and doors from allowing that building envelope to become unsealed? You seal them around the side. For windows, you double up the windows glass to create more air gaps in between. And again, weather strip and caulking. All right, so here is your home design challenge. Oops. In this challenge, you'll have... I just realized I didn't share my audio. Let's try this again. Here we go. So I'm going to talk through. As I'm doing this, I want you all to open up your big bag of science that you got. Have that out, because it's going to walk you through the materials, and then we're going to walk through them a little bit as well. So have that out during this little video clip.
In this challenge, you'll have the opportunity to design, test, and decorate your own energy-efficient house. You've been sent some building materials. To build the basic structure of your home, you have a box and a roll of tape. Your goal is to seal the house's building envelope. To do that, you have many insulation material options. Each material insulates differently. It resists that exchange of thermal energy differently. To cover your walls, floor, and ceiling, you've been sent poster board. And to build transparent windows, you have transparent paper. Your doors and windows may get drafty, so you may need some weather stripping. Here are both clay and foam options for you to try out. You aren't restricted to using just these materials, but there are a few bare minimum building codes that you must follow. Your building can be assembled however you'd like, but it must be a closed system and you must use the box that you were sent. Your house must have one 10 centimeter by 20 centimeter vertical door that opens and closes. You can add a storm door, but both doors must be able to open and close. Your house must have two 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter windows. These windows do not need to open, but must be transparent. We must be able to see through the windows. For your doors and windows, make sure that you measure twice, cut once. When you cut safely. If you're using scissors, start a hole with a pencil and then continue to cut. If you use a tool that's more technical, like a box cutter, make sure you have parent approval and supervision. To seal that building envelope, insulate all surfaces in your house to separate inside and outside air. However, all walls, floors, and ceilings must be covered with poster board, so the insulation is inside the wall. The poster board acts like drywall. The walls also cannot be thicker than 1 centimeter, including that poster board and all of the insulation.
All right. So that is a basic house. Now the roof would have to close, obviously, but you have all the materials. So real quick, I'm going to stop sharing so you can see just me. There I am. All right. So again, look at the different materials. You have some different insulators here. They're going to, like we talked about, they have R levels. They insulate, they resist. That's what that R level stands for, resistance of thermal energy at different amounts. We will be doing a demo in a little bit while you're building where we can kind of examine what these are capable of. So you got a couple different materials there. You also have in your box or in your bag a couple different types of weather stripping. So one's kind of clay based, one is foam based. And we talked about how that's a great way to keep those doors and windows closed off. You also have inside the big box, inside the bag, is a box that's folded up. That's the box you'll use to make your home. And again, all you need to do is assemble the box. I had a fancy roof on mine. So not the big box, but the little box that's in the bag. So you're gonna be building your house out of the little box. There it is. So everybody right now, go ahead and put that little box together, fold it up, because that's gonna be your house. Now, everything that you're gonna build has building code, and I'll share that up on my screen in a little bit so you can see it. You have to have at least 2 windows and 1 door.
Can we put the windows and such in now? I mean, like,
so you can start. You know what? Primo, let me share back my screen here so you all can see this. There we go. And I'll put the building code up.
How
so
do
you can
we
start.
set it up? How do we set it up?
So to put the box together?
Yes.
Here, let me go back to the clip I had because I think I put the box together in the video there. Let's see. Here we go. So there's all your materials. So if you look, all you have to do.
They get drafty, so you may need both clay and options for you to using
Can you go back? Can you read?
So here's the box part right here.
it's really weird. You have to like cram it. So some stuff has to bend for it to be put like that.
Yes. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
watch, and I'll keep playing this clip over and over here, Izzy.
materials.
So you see how I folded one, then I folded the next, and I folded the next. Watch the 4th flap. The first 3 flaps just fold into the center. The 4th
But there
one,
are a few
see how I'm lifting that one piece there? So watch how I do this.
bare minimum
lift it and I
building
tuck it
codes
under.
that you must follow.
So we'll try it again.
Bare
How
minimum building codes
how
that
big
you
does the
Just
door have to
find
be?
it the
building
way it's
assemble-
supposed to.
Here, I'll put
However
the
you
sizes
like,
up in a
but
second.
you-
Here's another one. So if you watch, I fold that last one and fold it under. You can
We supposed
also
to do it from the bottom or from the top?
you pull up to the top and you fold it underneath it. Otherwise, what you can just do is just fold 2 of those and just tape it. You can also fold 2 flaps down and just tape it because you got a big roll of tape hopefully in there. All right,
I do.
let me put on
Must be
the building code. So Primo, to go with your question, here are the building sizes. So you have to have 2 windows. Now they can be bigger than this, but they have to be at least 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters. And those 2 windows can be anywhere on your house, but they have to be transparent. You have to be able to see through them. We talked about
Can I
how
make
to deal the
Okay.
edges and do multiple levels. What was that question?
Can I make like a roof and then kind of like section that off like the attic and then just put the windows up there?
Yes, if you'd like to do that as well. But again, they have to be able to be seen through. They have to be see-through.
Mr. Rob,
Yeah.
do I have to do it from the bottom? Like, do I close the bottom?
Yeah, you'll want to close the bottom and the top. But I would say don't
One by
close
time.
both of them yet because you want to insulate your walls. So you have to have 2 windows, 1 door. The door has to be, oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me fix these numbers.
His
as
mind
as I
is
type them in
weird.
right on my screen.
Wait, it's not 10 by 5?
There's the sizes. So the 2 windows 5 by 5, the door 10 centimeters by 6, and it has to open and close. Has to open and close. The walls, you can use any of these insulating materials on the walls. Tape them down
Mr.
there.
Rob,
Yeah.
can you stop sharing and show it the way can you do it with us at the same time?
Putting the box together.
Yes.
I do not. I have to go check if I have any more of those boxes because the only box I have, I've already put together. But let me check if I have one. I might have one there, but I'm going to leave these rules up, the building codes up while we build. Let me see if I can find one though, Izzy.
Okay. Can you give me a tip, Ryan? Because I know you're doing it right now. So can you show it to me when you're?
Here we go, Izzy.
Oh,
I
never mind.
found a box. I knew I had to have
Alright.
at least one somewhere. Okay. So again, it's just putting a regular box together. This is a good skill to have as you get older, no matter what, because you're going to eventually, you know, move and such in your life. So I just fold one in, then the next.
Hold on.
This is going to be like the bottom. So I folded one in,
Okay.
folded the next,
Okay.
then I folded the next.
Okay.
This is where the hard part happens. And you could do one of two things. You could just take a piece of tape and just tape it down if you want. Tape that in place. Or you see how this part, see how there's one that's up, one that's down. I want to get this in between the two. So I have to lift the one that's down. I have to kind of bend it up. See how I bent that? It's hard to show. I bent that there. And then I'm going to fold this piece.
I'm just gonna tape it to make my life easy.
I was just gonna say, Izzy, that might be the best bet. Tape it just to make life easier.
Yeah.
Because there's no right way to do this. Really, as long as you all follow those rules that I had up, those oops. Let me share my screen again. I'll put those on there for everyone. Basically, as long as you follow these building codes, your house can kind of look like whatever. So you have to use this building. You have to have 2 5 by 5 windows that I can see through. And then again, you're just going to insulate.
How do we turn these in? Like the picture?
The pictures. So I'll put the social media up at the end because I think they want.
What if we don't have Sophia?
If you don't, then you know what? I can get an email that you can send them to. Let me reach out and find out what email I can have them sent to. Actually, you know what? I know which email. I'll type it in the chat right now. So if you take any photos, oh, where'd my chat go? There it is. You can send them to. Oh, let me make sure I'm typing this email in right. Yes, okay. So you can send it to this email right here. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to let you all just kind of start building. In a little bit, we're going to take a break. You can still build during the break, but I'm going to show you what this house looks like during or under infrared light. So we're going to look at the problem areas using an infrared camera in a little bit. We're also going to look at and compare our 3 different materials. So for right now, everybody start building, keep building. I'm here if you've got questions.
My door is like 9.5 centimeters.
I'll allow it, Primo. I'll allow it.
Because I built it like near the bottom.
That's fine. We're not going to be sticklers here. When I do this in a classroom setting, you know, I always, for the final presentation, like you guys are getting like the quick fire challenge. But sometimes I'll go around the last day and like, I'll inspect everything. I'll get a tiny little measuring tape and make sure everything's perfect. But we're being okay. What's going to take the most time is insulating those walls. So as soon as you have your windows and doors cut, I would say start insulating ASAP.
Oh wait, I should.
And again, I'm here if you got questions. We'll do a little demo in a few minutes.
Is this okay? All right.
That looks good to me, Izzy. Perfect. Again, the goal is just to seal that building envelope. So taping and closing off the building and the walls, or the floor and the ceiling is huge.
So do we have to close the top too?
Yes, but I would say wait until after you've insulated the walls.
Okay.
Close the ceiling up, that last thing, because you want to be able to insulate.
Okay. So what do I do after that?
So after you've done that, next what you're going to do is you're going to use those insulation materials you have, and you're going to insulate the walls. So you want to tape the insulation pieces onto the inside of the wall. So let me go back. I'll show you that clip again.
Can I use this?
Yeah, use any of the materials. So here, I'll cut to this again. So you got all these materials here. Any of them can be used. And again, notice you have, like, for the windows, you have some, where's the clear stuff? You have some clear transparencies. And then just remember, your walls have to be covered with that paper, that poster board. It's kind of like drywall. Like, you can't see the insulation in your walls because there's drywall. Then once, the last thing, I always say, last thing you can do for the windows and doors is go through with that weather stripping again.
Is this, do we have to use it for what?
So what you'll do with that, you'll cover your wall. So watch how I'm doing this in the video. I cut my windows and doors, and then I go over here. See how I put a bit of bubble wrap? So I used bubble wrap to insulate the wall, and then I covered the insulation with that poster board, that roll of white poster board you have. It's kind of like drywall in your house. Again, it blocks you in the house from seeing the insulation in your wall.
Okay, and then, so are you using a Sharpie? Because I don't have a Sharpie.
I just used a Sharpie so it showed on camera. You can use a pencil, crayon, whatever's best for you. And I just did that because I always say, measure twice, cut once. So draw your door, draw your windows, then safely cut them out. And again, everybody, I would say just try using the scissors. And if you have someone there who can help you with the cutting, that's also great too.
What's going on?
Definitely a lot safer that
It's
way.
her friend. He's sick. Let me have a look.
What if we don't have, we have scissors because that's what you gave us, but is that specifically for cardboard?
So you can use those same scissors on cardboard as well. But remember,
Okay.
one tip I gave in the video is to get it started, maybe use the pencil and just push the pencil through, because the pencil's not too sharp, but you can push it through the cardboard to make that first hole when you start cutting. In fact, let me go back and I can show you that too. Here we go. So like, here's an example. Like, I drew my windows, I drew my doors, and then when I cut it, see how I put a pencil in there just to get a hole going? Because once I have that hole in there, I don't want to take my scissors and stab it through. That might, cut me. But a pencil's dull enough, that's good. And then once I have it going, I can safely cut out that box. Again, only use something more extreme if you have a parent there to cut it for you. That's always a good suggestion. If you have a parent who's willing to cut for you, or older brother, older sister, whoever.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Cutting with like another thing is actually really useful because you can be way more precise.
Yeah. Right. Some tools are definitely worth the time involved in learning them well, because it gives you a little bit more precision eventually. But that takes a lot of experience and a lot of hand-eye coordination. So I know it gets easier as you get older. And then it gets a lot harder as you get a lot older. All right. I'll let you all build, engineers. Like I said, I'm here if you got questions. One tip I will throw out there that makes life easy: when you're cutting like your insulation, or my box, here it is. You can hold it on the outside and then either draw where you're going to cut, or just cut it along the shape and size of the wall. Because then if you cut it to fit the outside, it'll slide right in on the inside. You can just tape it on there.
Wait, Mr. Rob, can you show how you did the door and the windows with the marker?
Yeah, I'll go back. And you know
Did
what?
Did you use a ruler?
I used a ruler in mine.
Okay,
So here,
I'm gonna try.
let me go back and I'll show you. So all I did, and that's why I'm keeping that.
Can
I'm
you
trying to
pause
keep that.
it before you start? Cause I have to go get a ruler.
Okay, here, Izzy, while you go get a ruler, I'm gonna find that video. I'm gonna send you that link so you can keep rewatching it as much as you want.
Is it on YouTube?
It is. I'm gonna find that YouTube link and send it to you.
Because if I have YouTube, if it's a YouTube video, I can't.
Oh, okay.
Cause I'm on a school computer and it's locked.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I can play it once you come back. So go find your ruler and we'll keep playing that clip. In this challenge, you'll have.
Primo, can I see yours?
All right. For anyone who can access YouTube, here's that video clip that we're pulling from. So if you have, if you want to go see any information there, and there is some other information there, kind of like what I talked about with the windows and doors. And then let me share this back out. Oops, wrong one.
Izzy here.
Oh, nice. Turn it around so I can see the whole thing.
I've just been doing.
What about you, Brian? You're muted. Brian?
Oh, it's Bryn, not Brian.
Oh, Bryn.
He's finally home.
What's your name? Is it Bryn? You're muted, Bryn.
All right, Izzy, here was you were asking about how we test the windows and doors. So if you look, and you can put your doors and windows anywhere, like you saw where Primo had his set up, you can put them wherever, but they just have to fit into those sizes. So 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters. I know it says something different on this screen right now. And then 5 by 5. And all I did was I took a ruler and I drew a square that's 5 by 5 for the windows. And here I drew a door. Here it is. I drew a door that was 10 by 5.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Ooh, someone's.
I had a question because sometimes the video kind of changes. Like at one point it said that the door had to be 10 by 20 centimeters.
Right.
Now it says 10 by 6.
Sorry, yeah, that's why I'm trying not to use that video clip. The video in YouTube link that I just shared to you is updated. The building code that's on my screen right now, that's the accurate building code.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think that's what also should be on. If you have any paperwork that came with this, any instructions, these are the numbers on the instructions, I believe.
Just do 12 when I have a centimeter straight each side by 8. 12 by 8. Okay.
Primo, did you say that yours says 12 by 8?
No, I'm doing the.
Oh, you're
The
doing
window.
your own thing. I see. Oh, so you're like expanding out. Cool. So our goal is to test these at 5 o'clock. So you want to be ready to test
What
at
time is
5
it?
o'clock.
Oh, it's 5:22.
Oh, sorry. I'm in Chicago. 6 o'clock. Sorry, ladies and gents. I just looked at my phone. As soon as I said it, you all were like, "What, Mr. Rob? Come on." Sorry about that, boys and girls.
It's not bright, but it's there. I don't know if you can see it.
It's a little hard to see. I could see it when it was further away. But yeah, as long as it's 10 centimeters tall by 6 centimeters wide, at least, you could make it bigger. I actually, if I'll show you, the house from the video is the house that I have right here. I made my doors and windows huge. Your doors are going to be much smaller than my doors. I like the big cartoony doors. They're fun.
Oh, for me, I'm doing the windows right now. I'm not doing doors right now. So it will take
Gotcha.
a while. So hold on.
Okay.
Does it only have to be 2 windows or can it be multiple?
You can do more windows. You have to have at least what's on my screen right now, at least 2 windows and at least 1 door. You can have more, but remember, our goal here is to see the most efficient house. You're trying to seal that building envelope. Because I'll talk a little bit about how we're going to test it now. Now that you guys have had a chance to build, we'll eventually, and that's why you need those ice cubes and a sandwich bag at the end. We're going to be taking those, putting the ice cubes in the house, and we're going to see whose house cools down the most. Because the house that cools down the most is preventing the warmer air in your house from entering. Just like an efficiently built home will keep the air cool inside or hot inside, depending on what the weather is. So that's how we'll be testing it. We'll be using our thermometers in not a little bit, but like a half hour. We'll be doing that. While you all are working, I'm going to start setting up for our little demo we're going to do in a moment.
Wait.
So you all don't have to do anything. Just keep building. I just want to show off a couple things that we discussed today.
Can you stop sharing?
Yes, I'll stop sharing. Well, I'm going to keep that up until we do the demo. Because that way everyone has access to that building code right there.
Oh, okay.
So I make sure everybody can always see that.
Mr. Rob,
Yeah.
sorry to tell you, but apparently I have to go.
Oh no, Izzy. It's okay. I was glad to meet you.
Thank you. It was also glad to meet you too. Can you send me this PowerPoint like in the chat? Do you know how to?
You know what? This one probably won't attach correctly because it's got videos attached. So I'd have to go and package it correctly. And I don't have it on Google Drive, unfortunately.
No, it doesn't have to be on Google Drive. It doesn't have to be. I have a way to do it.
You guys are doing great.
Let me.
I don't know, maybe it's a little early, but.
So
Let me try real quick.
So if you share your entire screen, I know how to do it. So I'm
Right. Oh, I can probably figure it out. It's just gonna look. The videos won't be in there. That's the only problem.
Oh, that's okay.
Cool. Let me do this.
Can I use like an external tape roll? Because I don't want to have to use like packing tape.
Yeah. Yeah, the materials that you were given are the bare minimum. If you all want to step into your own private stock of materials, you definitely can do that as well. This is all about kind of doing a little bit more brainstorming and creativity. So if you're thinking outside the box, think outside that box.
Have you created it multiple times, or is this your first time?
Building this house?
Yes.
I've built these a few times. It's a lot of fun. I love building these with other students around the country because it's always cool to see what you all come up with. All right, so I'm sending it to you now, Izzy. It looks like it's slowly loading.
You just have to send me the link, and then.
So I just hit upload. It should be sending it to you through.
Can you send it through? So if you share your screen, I can help.
Well, it's uploading right now. It's just being very slow. It's trying to send it to you through Zoom.
Okay.
Oh.
Nice, man.
But the instructions, do you see the paper instructions? Did you get paper instructions in your box?
Yes, right here.
Those paper instructions cover the exact same thing as.
Oh, okay.
Totally.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well,
all right. Good luck.
Bye.
Build on your own, Izzy. Good luck.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Everybody else, I'm going to turn the screen this way. Again, keep building. Just kind of listen, and once in a while, I'll show you something on the screen that you'll definitely want to look at. So give me one moment.
Oh, sweet, it worked.
What works?
The windows.
Nice. What you got? Let me see. Oh, very cool.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, in there. I just used like masking tape.
Perfect. Yeah, as long as they're transparent, as long as we see through them, that's all you need. All right. So what I have here, and I'll show you all in a sec because I got to connect it. This is actually like we talk about home theaters. This is my projection wall at home. I'm going to connect. I have something called a FLIR camera. It's an infrared camera. And I'll show you in a sec. You'll immediately recognize what infrared looks like. I've just got to
That's actually looking pretty good.
Here we go. And video TV. Here we go. All right. There it goes. So you can all see me up here right now. The camera's on my phone. So I'm screencasting over to my projector wall. This is what I look like in infrared. Notice where I'm warmer, like my face, I have redder or hotter images. Look at the heat coming off my hand. Here over on the side is, I'm going to aim it down at a table. So the table, pretty cool, nothing too hot on there. There's my hand again. I'm going to touch my hand to the table. Now, this is how thermal transfer works. Even though the table has a tablecloth, even though the table is plastic and has an insulation, some of that thermal energy goes through. Because again, it's all about conductivity and insulation. Insulation prevents that from moving, whereas conduction allows it. Over here, you can see there's something pretty warm there. This is actually, if you've ever seen like a hot plate for like heating up food in like a college dorm room, there's a hot plate there, and I have 3 soda cans that have water in them. And I'll bring one of them over so you can see it. Basic soda can. This is conductive. It's metal. It's allowing that heat through. So I have a little bit of water in there, and we're going to let those cans heat up real quick. Because what we're going to do is we're going to cover those cans with the different insulation materials that you have in your box. So as you're insulating your home, we can kind of discuss and see which of these 3 are insulating best. So we have that paper material, we have the bubble wrap, and we have this more fabric-like material. Get that back over. What I also have here is my energy house. This is the house we saw in the video. We can't see much of it right now because there is no heat. We're going to cool our houses down. I'm going to heat it up. I put in here a light bulb. So I'm just putting a big old inefficient incandescent light bulb. These things heat up. And we're going to see how the heat travels through the house. Oops, there's me.
Ooh.
So if we look at how the house is immediately heating up. The windows have a lot of heat coming through. I can see the light bulb in there, pretty hot. As I look at my doors and windows, look at the door, the shape of the door. The heat is already escaping up the top here. So there's my door. Over on the side, I have 2 trees. Let's see if I can get this to line up. Do you see these blue spots here? There's a blue spot there and a blue spot there. The trees are preventing the thermal transfer. They're insulating by creating air gaps and blocking it. Now I want to look at the roof. Look at how hot the roof is getting. Look at that big red spot right up top. All the heat is collecting up there. That's why it's so important to insulate roofs and ceilings. Let's go back to the front of the house. Again, look at how hot around that door's gotten. Now, the door itself isn't too hot, but the walls around it, the wall above it, I can see that air is coming out. There's a really hot red spot. The cracks of the door are red hot. That's where things like weather stripping come into play. All right. We'll turn off my house. And again, those are the big takeaways there. Saw how things like the caulking on the windows allowed a lot of heat through. The cracks in the doors allowed a lot of heat through. Things like the decoration outside. If you have plants outside, if you have trees near your windows, that helps keep that temperature conserved. It doesn't allow that transformation. Now I'm going to pull off our 3 soda cans. And again, you got me on camera here in thermal view. And you'll be able to see these soda cans very clearly. So you can see, actually, let me move this out of the way because it's really hot. You can see that the 3 soda cans have heated up. They are warm, especially compared to the table. What I'm going to do...
5 by 5, Bryn.
What's up?
I was responding to Bryn.
Oh, sorry, I didn't...
5 by 5?
Centimeters.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that, chat. So I'm putting different insulation materials. You guys have 3 different insulation materials. I'm covering these hot soda cans. And I'm going to let them sit there for a moment. I'll have you all kind of vote for a sec. Look at your different insulation materials and hold it up in a moment. Which insulation material do you think is going to insulate the best? Is going to prevent thermal transfer? Hold one up. Let's kind of see a prediction. So hold up the ones. We think maybe the more the white fabric-y looking one. Bryn, which one do you think is going to insulate the best?
What do you mean by insulate?
What's that?
I said, what do you mean by insulate?
So insulate is preventing that thermal exchange. It's preventing heat from transferring. Kind of like how your coat insulates you in the winter. It keeps the heat inside and it keeps the cold air outside. Which one's going to block the best?
Let me think. Hold on. I think either one of these.
One of those two?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go check our confirmation. So I'm going to start.
I have an idea.
Neither of you thought that the bubble wrap would do it. So let's look at the bubble wraps can.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to put like a second door?
That's what I did.
Yeah. You can do.
I don't mean like 2 different doors. I mean like a door. Like I want to put this fabric like hanging behind the door.
So like a that's what we would call like a storm door.
Yeah.
That's fine as long as both doors open. That's all we say. As long as you can get your hand inside the building.
Okay, the storm door is gonna like swing.
That's fine. Yeah. Because again, that's why remember we talked about vestibules, how they create double doors. So that was a good catch. Good idea. All right, so I'm gonna go back to this. If you look, the bubble wrap, I see a lot of heat coming off that bubble wrap. Look at that. That means the heat of the can is allowed to transfer through. So that's what insulation means. It blocks that heat. So here's that white fabric. It's still kind of warm. But again, if I put it next to the bubble wrap, hold on, put the bubble wrap back on here. If I put it next to the bubble wrap, you can see.
Was that only one layer?
It's only one layer. The bubble wrap is not doing a really great job. You can see how hot that water is at the bottom. Now here is the paper, the brown paper. You can see a little
Doing the best.
You can see a little bit of heat coming through, but look at that. It's yellowish, greenish, and blue, whereas
the paper is the paper is the white one, right?
The paper is the brown one. So it's like this one. And again, here's why. If you look at this stuff, let me get it on camera. Look at all those little nooks and crannies, all those little gaps, all those little air gaps. That's why we said like windows work best when they have 2 panes because they have an air gap. Primo, you were talking about doing double doors because that creates an air gap. That's the secret to insulation. Like if you've ever used a a Yeti mug. That's how they do it. They insulate by having air gaps in there. Awesome. All right, I'll let y'all keep building. Again, we're going to try to do our test in 20 minutes. And actually, I'll share that building code screen back out with y'all. So Deshauna just asked, what time does this end? We're going to test at 5 o'clock. So we want to make sure you have plenty of time to try to build your house. And then once we're done testing, which will take about 10 minutes, we'll be done. Sorry, 6 o'clock. One day I'll get it right. So at 6, we'll test. And then again, testing just takes a couple minutes.
Are we supposed to layer insulation on the inside?
Yep. So you'll put layers of insulation and then try your best to cover it up with the poster board. I know you may not have as much time to get all the poster board around there, but you want to do about, again, 1 centimeter thickness maximum. Because walls always have some limit to them.
Okay, now I gotta. Okay, so if I do here, 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 and here, I might not have time for all the poster board.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, focus mostly on just the insulation. Sometimes this is an activity that we're just doing kind of the challenge, the quick fire version of it, where you're just trying to get as much insulation in there as possible. But again, we're walking away understanding, even on a little cardboard box house, we can easily see those weak points in the envelope that allow the heat to flow through. We saw how the doors and windows, the cracks around the doors and windows allowed a lot of heat through. The windows themselves allowed a lot of heat through. Because that's our big takeaway from all this.
So just have no windows, no doors, and a completely self-sustaining underground environment.
You know what? I think you're onto something, Primo. You know, let's just all live in bunkers deep under the city.
Isn't that what always ends up happening when people aren't energy efficient?
In the movies, yes. But that is that. I mean, that is when you look at a lot of like modern, unique home designs. They try to do things like that. I've seen a lot of tiny house designs where they'll build it into the side of a hill, or they'll get a bunch of dirt and they'll build their house. Basically, it's kind of like a hobbit hole almost, where they just build it partially underground and they grow grass up along the sides of their house.
Yeah, the seed bank. I forget. I don't know. I don't remember the name. It's like the Albert or something. That's why it's underground.
Yep. In Switzerland. I want to say Switzerland.
Yes, I think it's in Iceland.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, it's partially underground because it's going to keep all of the seeds at a healthy temperature so they don't go bad, but also keeps them safe.
Yeah.
Rob.
Yes.
I had a quick question. Are you recording this session, or are you able? Oh, you are. Okay.
Yes.
Now, how do I get it though? How do I get the? Because this is the thing I'm currently teaching, with one of my classes.
That's how you build it.
And yeah, well, I built this in the workshop that we did, Rob.
Yeah.
But I'm teaching it to my 3rd, 4th grade right now. And so I wanted to see how you introduce it versus the way I'm doing it, because I'm just trying to figure out, like, am I doing what I'm supposed to do?
Right.
So I was trying to see if you were recording it, then I can just kind of get an idea of how you're doing it. Yeah. Because I found it very difficult yesterday trying to like teach the kids.
Simple question.
He asked what?
What about the thermal?
No, not that. I'm saying like trying to show a class, like, I had probably about 15, 20 kids, and trying to show them like how to measure, the square and
that is a challenge, like changing it up. Here's a suggestion I would make for you, and this is because I also teach special ed, so I always have to think about like different levels to teach it on.
Right.
Have templates made out for them already. So instead of, if you want to make it a measuring tool thing, you could do that, or just take an Amazon box and cut up a standard door and a standard window and say, hey, trace this, place the window wherever, trace it, and then cut it from there.
Okay, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, templates save a lot of time. I actually have I have a little digital die cutter thing. Like a cricket. I'm sure you've seen crickets before.
Yeah.
I have a cricket.
So,
We just
nice.
got one.
Awesome.
We just bought one.
They're surprisingly fun, especially for education. But I'll use that to like pre-cut things for my classes, so that way they don't have to worry about it.
Oh, that's so smart.
So
That's
easy
excellent.
little thing. Let the robots take care of it for you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And do you have the video that I'd sent out, Tiffany?
The workshop that we did when we made the house. I don't know. I'm gonna check my email. I thought you had sent.
I think we did. If not, I'm gonna pop it in the chat for you.
Okay.
Because that way, if you just need a visual for the kids to look off of, it has it all. Plus, we just updated the numbers because we changed our boxes. That's why my windows and doors are huge.
And see, I wanted to take a picture of that too, because I told the kids, I was like, if you guys want to get creative with it, it's fine. I've told them about my facilitator and how you had put the boxes and the grass and all of that. I think that's what I wanted. Do you mind if I take a picture? Oh wait, I got kids online, so I may need. Well, let me see. I can block.
Or again, if you follow that YouTube video, this house is in it.
Oh, good. Okay. All right, I'll do that.
You can show the kids that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because honestly, that's sometimes one of the things that gets kids into it is decorating a little bit more.
I agree.
All right, architects, you got 10 minutes, about 10 minutes to finish your builds. Again, focus on what's important, the insulation. Now, what's kind of cool is once you have this, we can treat this almost as like our first design, our first attempt. So when you test it in a little bit with us, you can, next weekend or this week, if you have some downtime, you can add to it. You can decorate it. You can make it even better. If you think that it could be insulated better, you have extra materials to build onto it.
I'm just gonna show you how to do it. I will.
Yeah, the cutting is one of the challenges. That's why it's always so great if you have a helper there.
Like a box cutter or something.
Don't cut.
Well, and box cutters.
Yeah, I've been using like
I know, but I don't
one of these this whole time.
Exacto. Yeah. That's the challenge with a build like this is scissors versus box cutters. Not everybody can use a box cutter safely.
Right. Well, that's true. No, I agree with that. That's true.
And then Tiffany, for your younger kids, if they're having a hard time cutting, again, there are cardboard cutting tools that are really great. If you do a lot of this type of stuff.
I have a maker space in my library.
Nice.
Yeah. And I really honestly I just downloaded like a list of things that I, tools and things that I need to get. But I'm open to the card. You said it's a cardboard cutter. I'm gonna look it up on Amazon.
I want to say it's like called the Canary Cutter or something.
Okay.
It used to be part of the Make Do. Make Do was like a building set where you would take cardboard and cut it, and they had like screwdrivers and such.
What do you call that? A Make Do?
It was called Make Do. That was the old kit. I think they just stopped selling them though. So
Make Do.
Okay.
But I think the cutter is now called like the Canary Cutter.
2 windows down.
So they do have.
Now I need to.
They have.
I have a question. I'm supposed to put something inside, right? Like the wrapping.
The pad.
Yep. So insulate it up. And we found we discovered that this one was probably the best. So if you have limited time to get it in there, I would say use this and just tape it in there. Tape it along the inside walls. Because what we'll be doing is we'll close up our boxes and we'll be throwing some ice cubes in there and see how cold it gets.
Okay.
I think this is it. It's make. I could be wrong though. Let me see. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah. They still do sell the cutters. Okay, good.
Okay, good. This is great.
Because those are pretty like relatively safe. Yeah.
Nice. Oh man, this is awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need 2 more walls of insulation, and I'm done.
Almost there, Primo. Keep it up, buddy. I like your drive, man.
I just want to get it done because, like, this is. Wait, if I can angle it like that, because this is.
Nice, dude.
You did.
Yeah.
You got a lot
I kind of haphazardly jammed the bubble wrap, so it all doesn't, because there's a hole where you fold it.
Gotcha. And that's one of the hardest parts about doing something big in a short time. But that's the world of engineering. That's what people who work in the energy industry, sometimes they're told, hey, you have to do and accomplish something huge in a short amount of time, or the East Coast doesn't have electricity.
Oh my goodness, that's a blessing.
Shauna, how's your house coming along? We haven't seen Jan in a bit.
It's going good.
Good.
All right. Ooh, Ooh.
Sounds like a brainstorm just happened.
This. Oh.
Real quick. I want to see something.
Oh, I just trim. Like.
That's That's 24.
All right, architects, you got 5 minutes.
Okay, so I just need to like chop that, cut that.
I gotta take it.
Can I glue it on?
Yeah, if you got it. Yeah, we always send
okay.
tape along because it goes a little quicker. But
No, my tape keeps getting tangled. So like.
yeah, that is the challenge with what do you call it, packing tape.
I just need it to stick.
Yeah, right. As long as it's in place, you're good.
Made the roof? Or is that my box?
I made the roof.
You did that?
Yeah, I need to. She did. She tried to go with something.
Yes.
Oh, I gotta do bubble wrap this time.
Rob, did you when you did it? Did you do the cost sheet or you skipped that part?
In online, we skip it for this year we
Okay.
have.
Thank
but
God.
yeah, it's a challenge because like if you have like one bag, like how do you know the kid's gonna only use what they said they use? And
Yeah.
also they can't buy enough because we have to give a variety. Now in class, I will do that. I'll set up like a store and I'll have my roll of this, my roll of that, and I'll say,
Right.
okay, if you're coming to buy from me, I have to sign off on your sheet.
Right. Okay. I just wanted
Because that's also good because otherwise what's going to happen is the kids are going to take a bunch more material than they need.
right.
That teaches them the limited. Plus, if you do as a competition, that's like an extra qualifier. So you can
Okay.
always have like who insulated their house the best, who had the lowest budget, and decoration also. I always do like a prettiest house
Oh,
award.
that's nice. Did you let me ask you this? This is the last question I had.
No.
You asked, did you have the kids do the temperature of the room and then and because I think when I read the guide or something, it said have the kids take the room temperature, and then put an ice cube inside the house and then have them take the temperature again.
So what we do is, and you can take normal room temperature with these, but it's probably going to be similar to what's inside. So when I do room temperature, it's always just like the baseline. And you'll see it. We'll be doing that in 2 minutes. 2 minutes to build. But basically, we leave it in there for a couple minutes.
Okay.
Find the temperature and then add the ice.
Okay.
You can do the opposite as well. Ice cubes are easy, but you could also put it outside on a hot day and see the difference in temperature.
All right.
Excuse me.
It's something.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I wanted to know if I could put anything on top of the roof of my house.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll allow it. Yeah, usually, actually, if it's insulation, it has to be inside the house. Sorry, yeah. It's gotta be inside. Now, with decoration, if you decorated, you could put stuff on top. But
Solar energy. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, but that's the decoration.
Oh.
That's part of the energy. What you want to do? That would
Do this.
Oh.
So that part you can decorate.
1 minute, architects.
Inside.
Oh. Oh, that was very.
So you decide. You were supposed to decide what materials you want to use because it's a challenge. You're trying to see who has the most energy. So she might use aluminum foil, you may not. She might use flexible board, you may not. Everybody's just trying to figure out who has the energy.
That's what's kind of cool about an activity like this is we're all starting with the same parts, but the amounts and the types and everything, all those little variables change everything in design.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
All right.
Right.
Time is now to test. I'll let you all take 30 seconds to do your final tapes, final whatevers. Seal up those building envelopes, close off your roofs.
I don't think you can.
Wait, give me a sec. I'm taping my top.
No worries. Yeah, that's why I said I'll give you that last moment. This isn't a reality show. I won't say, scissors down, knives down.
Okay.
All right. So in a moment, we're going to start measuring our temperatures. So real quick, before we start measuring, everybody, let's see, you're doing your last bit of tape. Hold up your house on camera so I can see everybody's house. I see Bryn's is up. Deshauna, you got yours up?
Box.
Deshauna, you got one? Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna hold it up. Everybody smile. I'm gonna do a screenshot so we have a picture of us. 3, 2, 1.
Yay!
Awesome. Thank you all. Okay, here's how we're gonna test our houses. There's gonna be a couple steps we gotta take. First, take your thermometer that you got, this little probe thermometer. It's kind of like what you would put in a turkey. And you see there's 2 buttons. You want to make sure that. So yeah, take off the little case. So you just have the metal part because that's what conducts the heat. So turn it on. There's 2 buttons. There's one button that's on, and the other one goes between Fahrenheit and Celsius. We're gonna go with Fahrenheit, and I'll show you why in a second. So make sure it says F. So click this.
Wait, okay, mine says F.
Does everybody say F and everybody's is on? Awesome. So what we're going to do next, take your thermometer and you're going to put it through your door. So put it through the inner part of your door, right at the top.
How do we turn it on?
So there's 2 buttons. There's one that's on off, and one that changed between Fahrenheit and Celsius. Click the on off button once and then change this to Fahrenheit. So what I'm gonna have y'all do real quick, leave your thermometer in, set your house down, and everybody go on a field trip to your kitchen and get a sandwich baggie with 8 ice cubes. Okay? So leave the thermometers there and go get a sandwich bag with 8 ice cubes and come right back.
Wait, I'm cleaning up a little.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, building and making sometimes gets a little messy. So go get those ice cubes. We'll have time to discuss and clean up while we're waiting for the houses to cool down.
I had kind of a smart idea where. Oh wait.
All right. All right, we're just gonna wait for everybody to get back with their ice cubes. I know I saw at least one person come back already with it.
I'll go check on my daughter. See what's happening.
Okay.
All right.
Wait. Okay.
All right, I think we're just waiting for Bryn to come back with her ice cubes, and then we'll do our final test and discuss a little bit.
Do you remember your login? Yeah. Paying for everything. Oh yeah, did something come up with more records? I'm just curious if I have that information. Oh, you might. I'm gonna have to double check it because I don't.
All right. I think we're still just waiting on Bryn.
I think they're gonna get their ice packs right
They're getting the ice cubes. Awesome.
Do we put the ice cubes in?
We're gonna put them in here in just one moment.
Okay.
Awesome. Now we can put them in. So here's what I want y'all to do first before you put your ice cubes in. Look at the temperature on your thermometer because you left it in your house, so it had enough time to get room temperature. Write that number down.
Oh wait, mine's on C.
Yeah, put it on Fahrenheit, and then write that number down somewhere. That's your starting temperature. So everybody write it down. Find what that temperature is inside, because that's kind of going to be like the room temperature. Once you have that number written down, open up the door and put your bag of ice right in the center of your floor. And then I'm going to set some time. We're going to do 5 minutes. We're going to wait 5 minutes. We're going to see who had the biggest change in temperature. So while we wait, I'm going to hear kind of from each of you in our last couple minutes here. If you had more time, because this is always a big question with a challenge that's quick. If you had more time, what other innovations would you have made? Because you got a chance to kind of explore and plan and execute some of it. But if you could have built that dream home, that dream energy efficient home, what else would you have done today?
So I would have insulated like around the outside of the door, so the door can still open and close, but there's like little flaps guarding it. I also probably would have experimented with like what part of the window leaks the most air.
Yeah.
My way to test that was blowing into it, which isn't like the most efficient.
Primo, you're onto it. You really actually just described how they do that. They do what's called a blower test. They will put on a giant, supermassive fan onto your door. They'll basically close off the whole door, put it on there, and they'll look for where the air's coming through. So they'll find gaps outside the house. You can also do the same thing if you take something as simple as just like a plastic grocery bag, and you put it on a hanger and then hold it near a window or door. You'll be able to find where the drafts are happening, where they're coming through.
I also might have tried to figure out a tiny loophole around the building code. Since nobody's going to be living in these houses, I was thinking I could just kind of put a layer of cardboard or something and then section that area off and then put the windows and door there. So like all the cold air from those gets separated to an area that's completely different from where the ice cubes are.
And again, that's why homes have attics. What you're describing is just basically a big, massive air gap. That's also why.
But doesn't cold air sink?
Cold air would sink and hot air would rise. So I see what you're saying. What you would do is you'd be trapping all that air. Okay. And you just have to have a place for the air to go through to rise up and track. Because then you would just be getting what's left, that cooler air. And that's why sometimes we'll also kind of say where the ceiling can be in your house. I didn't get that detailed today. Anyone else? What else would you have tried? So we got some good ideas looking at what we can do with the way we build our ceilings, the way we build our windows and doors. What else?
I would have probably made maybe I would have put my door differently, put it in a different spot, because if for say because my ice cubes are like really big, and if it melts it in here, I feel like some of the water will come out of the door. Maybe I put the door somewhere else.
Gotcha. Yeah, and door placement changes things, especially if you think about like where your door is compared to your environment. We talked about like building in an urban area versus building in a more rural area. A more rural area, you have a lot more wind potentially because you don't have other buildings and trees right around you blocking it. Nice. All right, we're going to check them in 2 more minutes. So again, leave the thermometers in so we can see that temperature change.
Leave the thermometer in?
Yeah.
I had to leave. Oh.
Sorry. So you got your initial temperature? If you can put it back in, that's fine. As long as it gets a final temperature and a beginning temperature.
Oh, I already see like one big crack because I cut it a weird angle.
Oh, yeah. And see, again, that's where treating this almost as the first test of your house is a big part of like the engineering process. You might look at this test and say, oh, I hate this. I wish I had done that. I need to improve this. Like, then you go back and you redesign and you retest it.
It's gone down like 3 degrees.
That's quick. That's good. Yeah, it's a noticeable difference in a short amount of time.
Ooh.
All right. We're gonna do our final check now.
Mine is still going down.
Oh yeah, they'll keep going down. We're gonna everybody right now though look at your thermometer. Write down the current temperature, and then and we want to find the difference in temperature. So write down the current temperature, take your original temperature and subtract that. So if your original temperature was like 73 and it dropped down to 70, we're looking at like a 3-degree temperature change.
7.4. 7.4.
Dropped 7.4? That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's huge. What else did we get? Who else?
I had like a eureka moment at the end where my ceiling insulation was kind of sagging down. So I just jammed more insulation into where it was sagging.
That works. Bryn, what'd you get? What was your temperature change? Oh, you're muted.
I said I had to get a different thermometer. I had to get a different thermometer because mine wasn't working. So,
Oh,
yeah. So
You have to put the batteries into it.
oh, the batteries weren't in it already?
I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. When they shipped, they may have taken them out. I apologize. So there's like a little battery you have to take out and put in.
Okay, but I just put my ice in like a few minutes ago. So I'm counting
Gotcha.
for 5 minutes.
Deshauna, were you able to get a temperature change? How much did it change? How much did it drop? How much did the temperature on your house drop? You can even throw it in the chat. Right now, Primo's kind of our lead with 7.4 degrees. Deshaun, if you had a temperature change, go ahead and throw it in the chat. If not, oh, it went up. Okay, so the temperature must have changed, and that sometimes has to do with the thermometer. If we didn't put it in at the right time, or we had touched it right before, maybe it had your heat on it too. But those are all those little variables that when you test. So again, I challenge you to not only go back and keep designing on this, build onto your house, take what you learned and try to build the better house and test it again sometime, but also look for these things in your own home. Look for drafts, look for those places where the building envelope isn't sealed and that thermal energy transfers. And again, that's a big part of using energy, is using it responsibly. With that, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your evening with me and building some cool houses. Those look really great. And again, have a great night.